Let's discuss Truthy Values. So I want to actually discuss something that you'll see being done when you're looking at code on the internet, for example. And I'm going to keep this short, and I'm including it here for completeness. Don't worry if you don't understand this. It'll be there in the back of your mind, and it'll make sense when we come to use it. So I'll start by referring to the Python documentation. Link in the resources section of this video. We're going to paste it into here. So it starts by saying that an object can be tested for truth value for use in an if or while condition. We'll see an example of that in a moment. Now just below that, you can see there's two bullets there indicating values that will evaluate to false. So it mentions two constants, none and false. We haven't seen none yet, but obviously false is false. 0 is also considered false. Whether that's an int 0 or a floating point 0, it's still false. And finally, empty sequences and collections are also considered false. So what does all this mean? We're going to go back to the code, and we're going to stay with our truefalse.py file from the previous video, but we're going to delete all the code now. If you've been experimenting, and I hope you have, you may want to keep your code. In that case, just create a new Python file for these examples. Alright, so let's have a look at things that evaluate to false when used in a Boolean expression. The documentation said that 0 was treated as false. So let's type some code. If 0 colon, and the next line print parentheses and true in double quotes. We'll add an else there, else colon, print parentheses, double quotes, false. Now we don't actually have to execute this code because my IDE is telling me if I hover over line 2 there, this code is unreachable. 0 won't evaluate to true, so line 2 can't be executed. We'll run it anyway, and it prints false. Alright, so 0 is evaluated to false when it appears in a Boolean expression. Empty sequences also evaluate to false. We've only seen one sequence type so far, the string type. So if an empty string evaluates to false, we can do something like the following. I'm going to type in, so on line 6, name equals input, parentheses, double quotes, please enter your name. We'll put a colon there and a space. And closing double quote and right parentheses. Then we'll put if name colon, print on the next line, parentheses, double quotes. We're going to type hello, hello, comma, then left and right curly braces, and closing double quote, dot format, left parentheses, name. Then we've got the two right parentheses there. Else colon, print, are you the man with no name? Right. So both of those if statements on line 1 and line 7 look a bit strange. Python expects a Boolean expression after if, which is why it tries to evaluate 0 and name as Boolean values. We've already seen that 0 evaluates to false. Let's run the program and see what happens on line 7. Right, so I'm going to start by entering my name, Tim. Because Tim isn't an empty string, it evaluates as true on line 7, and we get the message, hello Tim. Run the program again. This time I'm just going to press enter here without typing anything. So that then results in name being an empty string, which evaluates as false, and that's why we get the message, are you the man with no name? So that's actually quite useful. We've got a quick way now to check if the user types something when we ask them for input. You'll see things like that being done, but I suggest you avoid doing it until you're really comfortable with Python. So until then, what I suggest you do is write line 7 a different way. So I'm going to comment that out, so you've still got it there. And instead I'm going to type it as if name is not equal and two double quotes and a colon. So now what we're doing on line 8 is explicitly comparing name to an empty string. It's more obvious what we're doing there, and that's the way I suggest you write your conditions to begin with. In the next video, we'll finish discussing Boolean expressions by looking at two more operators we can use, in and not in. See you in the next video.